I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors my mama made for me.
These are the classic album releases of a traditional American genre. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 important country albums.
So I've got friends in low places.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're focusing not on the most popular albums of country music history, but rather those that progressed the genre forward.
No, don't come home a drinking with a lover on your mind.
Number 10, Foggy Mountain Jamboree, Flatt and Scruggs.
There will come a time some morning when all the saints will rise and shine. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord, it won't be long.
Just before the death of the late Buddy Holly and just after Elvis became a household name, this album emerged and reminded 50s America about the beauties of bluegrass. The weight of the names Flatt and Scruggs may be lost on the younger crowd, but the unique aesthetic of Foggy Mountain Jamboree revealed a couple masters at work, thus strengthening the familiar country genre as the pop industry rapidly changed. Recorded by Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, who would later take on the name Foggy Mountain Boys, this album marked a pivotal moment in terms of accessible country music, highlighted both by the artistry and commercial appeal. Number 9, Patsy Cline Showcase, Patsy Cline.
7 lonely days make one lonely week.
At the time of release, this album reintroduced Patsy Cline to pop culture America after 4 years off. But sadly, she would pass away within 2 years of its release. Even so, Showcase remains a legendary work in the country music genre, large in part to the pristine vocals of a woman in full command of her craft.
I'm crazy for trying, and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you.
Willie Nelson actually wrote the iconic lyrics of Crazy, and a song like I Fall to Pieces has long been considered one of the landmark vocals that modern singers have turned to for guidance.
You walk by,
And while Patsy Cline didn't live beyond the 60s, her Showcase has survived the test of time.
I love you so much, it hurts me so.
And the thunder rolls.
Number 8, No Fences, Garth Brooks.
The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. Another love grows cold on a sleepless night.
While the sophomore slump has long been part of pop culture language, a Midwestern musician paid no mind to this concept with his now classic second album. On the heels of a monster debut production, released not even a year and a half before,
I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the day.
Garth Brooks brought the goods with No Fences in 1990. Led by the mega hit Friends in Low Places, the album dominated the charts, thus positioning Garth alongside the most famous names in the music industry.
I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases.
Before the release of No Fences, the pop and country genres coexisted, but never quite like when Garth came out swinging with this thunderous and momentous second release, followed by yet another classic with Ropin' the Wind.
Wow, shameless, shameless as a man can be. You could make a total fool of me. I just wanted you to know. Wow, shameless.
Number 7, Coat of Many Colors, Dolly Parton.
Mama, can I be your little girl again? I need you now, even more than
As Dolly's 8th studio release and one of her personal favorites, this album ushered in a new wave of realism in pop culture music. Combining Parton's own work and 3 songs written by Porter Wagoner, Coat of Many Colors not only endeared her to the counterculture movement, but the album told a personal story of poverty that hit home for many.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me, made only from rags, but I wore it so proudly.
And so, A Better Place to Live became a signature song of the times, while Dolly's knack for songwriting solidified the album as a definitive release of 70s country music. Like many authentic artists, Dolly Parton put her heart and soul into the music, and for her genre and beyond, the originality meant everything.
Go spread your blue wings, go light your blue sky, I'll shed my blue tears.
The sun.
Number 6, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life.
In the country music genre, artists often embrace a family concept that typically seeps into live shows, and it's this concept that made the 1972 Nitty Gritty studio release such a transformative album.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by?
It's got the aforementioned Earl Scruggs with all his banjo-picking excellence, and the production includes a who's who of country bluegrass music. So while it's not radio-friendly in the traditional sense, it is in fact traditionally a well-recognized classic of the genre. Bringing the old school together with the new, this album stands up decades later through its unique blend of artistry, demonstrating a familial bond that would be so crucial to the genre moving forward.
And now I'm lost, too late to pray. Lord, I paid the cost on the lost highway.
Number 5, Come On Over, Shania Twain.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Nowadays, Shania doesn't tour as much, but in the late 1990s, she was the country music artist as far as the mainstream was concerned. And while 1995's The Woman in Me changed the essence of pop country, Shania Twain's follow-up was a force of pop culture music.
Whose bed have your boots been under?
Not only did Come On Over rule the charts for essentially a full year, but the album was loaded, and we do mean loaded.
Get me wrong, yeah, I think you're alright, but that won't keep me warm on the long, cold, lonely nights.
With singles that remain karaoke classics and, more importantly, landmark pop country hits. Touching on relationships, feminism, and life itself, this album paved the way for the likes of Taylor Swift and Carrie Underwood.
You're still the one I kissed goodnight.
But time has stood still since we've
Number 4, modern sounds in country and western music, Ray Charles.
I made up my mind.
5 years into his recording career, the legendary Ray Charles strayed from his familiar soul aesthetic and explored a new sound. And given the times, it might have been considered a bold move in some circles, but not necessarily for the inquisitive Ray.
You have no heart. You have no shame.
Fortunately, the musical shift only heightened Ray's mainstream popularity, as his fresh take on the country genre expanded his personal fan base while introducing a new school of consumers to the style. And so, this poignant and rich collection of songs inspired artists looking to build upon each genre.
But all that I've got is a worried mind.
There goes my only
Number 3, Don't Come Home A Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind, Loretta Lynn.
There goes my everything.
As Loretta's first gold record, and the first gold record by any female country artist in fact, Don't Come Home A-Drinkin' was a representation of true artistic integrity. No, the upfront style wasn't for everybody, and though Loretta Lynn already had a full 6 albums under her belt, this one solidified the singer as a force to be reckoned with among a genre of hardened male artists.
So don't come home, but drink up with lover on your mind.
At only 29 minutes in length, the cleverly titled release offered an alternative vibe to the peaceful and free-loving counterculture movement. And while Loretta did have plenty of positivity to spread, the overall message was both raw and undoubtedly real.
So get out while you can, 'cause you ain't woman enough to take my man.
Yeah, land that knows no part.
Number 2, Red-Headed Stranger, Willie Nelson.
Blue eyes cry in the rain.
These days, Willie Nelson may strike a chord with marijuana enthusiasts, and for good reason. Yet back in the mid-70s, his legend grew by way of a rollicking concept album that established the country icon as an outlaw of pop culture, and certainly in his chosen genre.
Don't cross him, he's wild in his sorrow, and he's riding and hiding his pain.
In terms of the country music industry, well, Red-Headed Stranger put Willie at the forefront, especially considering the emergence of fellow outlaws.
But in the end, fair weather friends may break your heart, dear. And if they do, sweetheart, remember me.
And though the freewheeling style stands out, it's the music that endures, as the album has survived easily into the 21st century, representing the ideals of outcasts and modern-day outlaws.
It was the time of the preacher in the year of '01. Now the preaching is over and the lesson's begun.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Spent some time in San Francisco. I spent a night there in the can.
Wide open spaces, room to make a big mistake.
My heroes have always been cowboys, and they still are, it seems.
All them women gonna make.
Number 1, at Folsom Prison, Johnny Cash.
Oh, I'm going to Jackson. You turn loose of my coat. I'm going to Jackson. Goodbye, that's all, hero.
While the studio is where most country artists traditionally develop their craft, the Man in Black had something different in mind for his first live album. Released in 1968, At Folsom Prison was famously recorded within the confines of a Northern Californian detention center. And if that doesn't say outlaw, well then nothing does.
Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
Of course, Johnny Cash was a storyteller, and while some of his lyrics were meant for a specific demographic, the overall production ultimately transcended the genre itself. It's an acquired taste for some, but even so, At Folsom Prison elevated Johnny Cash from a well-known country artist to a pop culture icon.
I got stripes around my shoulders, and them chains, they're about to drag me down.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.